that down, let's move on to this, shall we? You know, a brand new trailer has just dropped for the new Liam Neeson comedy, The Naked Gun. Of course, kind of a relaunching of the Naked Gun franchise. They showed us a preview for it at CinemaCon. We thought it was pretty damn funny. They just dropped a new trailer showing some of the stuff that was actually in that preview at Comic-Con. And I will say for myself, I think it was a really good trailer. Now listen, we've been saying on this show, I've been saying on this channel for a while now that I'm a little bit nervous about Spaceballs 2 because it's just nearly impossible to do that style of comedy anymore and to do it well.
Yeah.
And so I'm nervous about it. But the previews I've seen for Naked Gun, pardon me, have given me some optimism. And so with this new trailer coming out, I thought one of two things would happen. Either number one, in order to be funny, they would have to abandon the style of the old Naked Gun. Or number two, they would keep the style of the old Naked Gun and fail to be funny. For me, they've managed to accomplish both. They absolutely have recaptured the style and the DNA of the old Naked Gun and the old 80s spoof films. They've totally recaptured it. And I think they've done so effectively. I mean, the most telling, best example of that is Pamela Anderson coming into his office and him saying, "Take a seat." And she goes, "Thank you," and picks up the chair and walks out of the room. That is so perfect for that era of comedy. Like it's an absolutely perfect representation. Of course, the absolute funniest moment was Pamela Anderson cleaning the oven. That's going to become the new euphemism. Yeah, cleaning the oven, huh? But that was absolutely hilarious. I think that was Busta Rhymes. I said, "I see you spent 20 years convicted for manslaughter." You know, I killed a guy.
I thought
must
that
have
was,
been a hilarious
I thought that
joke.
was very funny. That was my favorite thing in the trailer.
It must have been hilarious. So for me, as still cautiously optimistic as I am, because again, we haven't seen a good spoof movie in decades, Rob. Decades. But for me, this is showing promise. Now, you liked what they showed us at CinemaCon, but you weren't as thrilled with this trailer.
No, I mean, there was something about it I don't look. I still think some of it was like that line, the manslaughter.
Spent 20 years.
That was hilarious to me, and I think it's really hard to pull this kind of stuff off. But look, obviously Liam Neeson's having a ball, and I still want to see the film. You know, I thought this trailer might have been, I don't know if it was a little too much, but there's still a lot of funny stuff in it. I mean, you know what? This is going to seem weird, John. Do you know what I didn't love about this trailer?
What's that?
And I didn't feel that the way the first time. This movie is shot. It looks like it's shot beautifully. Like there's like a bank robbery scene. The interior, it looks almost like Tony Scott's Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah, it feels like it's a serious thing.
Yeah, and I'm like, I found myself, this is a weird thing to say, and it's not fair until I see the whole film. But there is a conventional wisdom that says a comedy needs to be shot like
differently.
A comedy.
Right.
And I have to say, one of my favorite comedies of the last 20 years is the first Ted.
Oh,
I thought
love
the
that movie.
first Ted was great. You know, Seth MacFarlane. I hated the second Ted. I hated it. And it was the same. And it was because it was a tonal issue that in the first Ted, you believed. It's just the only thing wrong with the world was that Ted himself couldn't have existed. But everything else felt organic to that world. Whereas Ted 2, everything felt forced. Everything was kind of ridiculous and heightened. I thought
Although I will say, to give credit to Ted 2, which I agree was nowhere near as good as first.
Nowhere near.
I think the single funniest joke in all of the Ted franchise was in that one, where they break into the sperm bank. The thing tips over, and what I might be getting some of the wording wrong, because oh my God, you're all covered in black guy jizz. This is what it must feel like to be Khloe Kardashian or Kim Kardashian,
right?
Which I was like,
right.
Oh my God, I can't believe they made that show.
But yeah, I just, and I'm hoping that this movie all works together. because I'm a huge fan. Look, to the granddaddy for me of all spoof movies, there's two. There's Blazing Saddles and Airplane. And then after that, you had like Top Secret and The Naked Gun, the Police Squad stuff. And then I really liked, what's Not Another Teen movie? Is that the one that stars Chris Evans?
Yeah, I think it's Not Another Teen movie.
That's pretty funny too.
Well, then there's not the Martin Sheen one. Charlie.
Yeah,
Charlie.
Loaded Weapon.
Hot Shots Part 2.
Hot Shots Part 2, and then his brother Emilio Estevez did Loaded Weapon with Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
I forgot
I
about Loaded
love
Weapon.
that one, and William Shatner's in that.
Yeah, he is.
And then came the era of the
It
Meet
just
the Spartans,
schlock.
and
Yeah,
it
that
just
was
became this
terrible.
vomit, and
Yeah,
it
just
killed the
schlock.
whole genre. But
Because a spoof movie still has to work as a movie.
All
You
they
know-
did was reference. It was
yeah,
like, dude,
pop culture reference. Pop
Right,
culture
right.
reference. That's all it
not.
was.
Whereas Airplane, even though they're doing a riff on, I forget the name of the airline disaster movie. It's not Fail Safe. It's
Oh, I know
not
what
Red Alert. It's called something else. But the story of Airplane, it's played straight. Like the story,
Yeah.
the plot unfolds, and it that still works. I watched somebody react.
Airport 77.
No, it was something else. It's an earlier movie, like from the 50s.
By the way, likened unto Ted and Ted 2, while Airplane 2 was nowhere near as good as Airplane
No.
1, I still think maybe the funniest joke in the Airplane series came from number 2, when they're in, I think William Shatner is down in air traffic control, and who's piloting the thing? It's Stryker. Pull his record. We did, and it's literally an album.
Right.
And it's got Stryker with an accordion.
Yeah.
He said, "We pulled his record, sir. It's not good. It doesn't
Yeah.
look good." And I'm like, I don't know why. I think that's like the funniest moment. That and I
Someone says
think
0
Jive
hour.
is like
0 hour. That's what it is. It's 0 hour. That's correct. See, somebody knew. But yeah, but those, I mean, look, when those spoof movies are done well, it's a tough art form.
so hard.
It's a tough art form. But Airplane, I watched this weekend. I watched a reaction video to it. Some couple reacted to it. I don't think they even heard of it, and they watched it and they're like, "This movie is a masterpiece." And I'm like, "Still is." 45 years later.
By the way, you know what? It's been a long time since I watched. You mentioned Top Secret. That's one of my all-time
It's so
favorite
good.
ones with Val Kilmer. I got to go back and watch that one again. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. Guys, one of the things that's really frustrating to me is that there's still a lot of stigma around men's mental health, but it should not be that way. Men are expected to always stay strong, keep together, provide, perform, and yet over 6 million men in the US experience depression each year, and many go undiagnosed. It's okay to admit that you could use some help. Real strength is being able to say, "I need to talk to someone." That's where BetterHelp comes in. With over 35,000 licensed therapists, BetterHelp is the largest online therapy platform in the world, having already helped over 5 million people. And it's super convenient. You can join sessions from anywhere, whenever it works for you. You can even switch therapists anytime at no extra charge. And the results speak for themselves. BetterHelp has a 4.9 out of 5 rating on the App Store with over 1.7 million reviews. So guys, if you're feeling the weight of the world, don't carry it alone. Talk it out with BetterHelp. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can connect you with mental health professionals who understand what you're going through. Our listeners and viewers get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Campea. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What did you think about the new trailer for Naked Gun? Rob doesn't quite like it as much as the earlier stuff we saw. I think it's looking quite promising. It's going to be tough to pull it off. Do you think it can do it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your
Manslaughter.
thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.